I've been trying my best not to think about you, but you're stuck in my mind. I've been hypnotized by you. Hey, all the suffering and pain got me feeling so blue. Cause when it was us, I was never enough. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, pushing me down instead of pulling me up. So tell me what I'm supposed to do just to be alright. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, yeah. Checking my phone, yeah. Seeing all these people, having someone to lean on while I don't. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up, pushing me down instead of pulling me up. So tell me what I'm supposed to do just to be alright. Girl, you got me thinking I was messed up.
What's going on, folks? Team No Sleep, Brother Montel.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Happy Sunday, everybody. Shout out to everybody out there.
Yeah, Sunday, March 21st. We back up in the building. I see we got folks online. I see you, Corey. I see you, tall boy. You in here for a minute. Glad you can stop by for a minute to have a conversation with us. We're going to talk a little bit about it. We got a lot of topics to talk about tonight. So Team No Sleep, definitely the social impact of sports. We're not just going to talk about scores. We're not just going to talk about standings. But Brother Montel came with some fire topics that we definitely want to get into. And man, what you got the game on behind you or something? I'm getting all this feedback.
No, you know what's crazy in the background, man. My son is actually on a college call with his recruiter. They got a team meeting for his college, so he's kind of trying to keep it on the unders doing that thing. So don't mind the back talk, but
that's
real
the future
deal right there. Yeah.
Hey, tell him turn it up if he can't hear it. That's all right. Make sure he can hear that.
Yeah, good.
Bro, where do you want to start, man? It's March Madness. We can talk about that. We're going to talk about that, but I think let me defer to you because I have a place where I want to go, but I want to be cognizant of you as well, brother, and see what's on your mind.
I think obviously college basketball is the top topic of sports right now. March Madness going on, but I think even more important that they kind of trying to cover a little bit with the light is women's basketball and how the young lady exposed.
Oh my goodness! You just want to go right to that one? Okay.
Oh yeah, man. Let's go deep, man. We'll get to Michigan State tall boy for sure. And Coach Izzo's antics, but let's definitely get to her exposing what NCAA did. I mean, obviously, there is not equal treatment. There is not a fair treatment when it comes to both of those people representing those schools and the NCAA as a whole. And I got some people. Go ahead. Yeah, shoot the video. She'll let you know what's going on.
I didn't know if it was on audio, but backstory for everyone: Sedona Prince, obviously in the tournament on the women's side, she shot a little video showing some gross disparity in terms of what the women's teams get versus what the men's teams get. So check out this tweet that she sent out.
I got something to show y'all. So for the NCAA March Madness, the biggest tournament in college basketball for women, this is our weight room. Let me show y'all the men's weight room. Now, when pictures of our weight room got released versus the men's, the NCAA came out with a statement saying that it wasn't money, it was space that was a problem. Let me show y'all something else. Here's our practice court, right? And then here's that weight room. And then here's all this extra space. If you aren't upset about this problem, then you're a part of it. I got something to show y'all.
I agree with her 100%. Now the NCAA did correct it. They built them a weight room or weight facilities.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's too late. They just showed. I think she showed you. Go ahead.
So let me shout out to a company that I support and I represent, and the tweet is right below. Tonal saw that and they said, you know what? We got you. We're going to send you some brand new smart gyms to the facilities so that the women's side can have what they need to get what they need done. So shouts out to Tonal for stepping up.
Yep.
I mean, literally moments after she sent that out. But you're right. And this is where we're going. NCAA is wrong for this, and they know they're wrong for this. It is a gross misrepresentation, right? In terms of what's going on, I don't think they can correct it, even though that they're trying to bring in some equipment now. It's just you are your first impression, and if all you're going to do is get him a little 5-pound, 10-pound dumbbell set from Walmart versus what the men got. That's not good at all. That's not good.
And they can try to hide and say it was a space thing and try to cover themselves up their tracks. But the bottom line is there is a big disparity. There's always been a big disparity. She's just happened to be brave enough to expose it.
Yeah.
I think there was also something they were talking about. Also the equipment they were getting as far as like their swag, as far as the clothing. There's a big disparity on that between what the men and the women get, and also on the gift bags. I don't know if people know that when you attend a tournament or a bowl game, usually the sponsors give you a big gift bag.
Yeah.
Now I know for a fact players, I can't speak to the NCAA men's basketball. I don't know exactly what they get, but I know some of the bowl games for football, they get swagged out. They get PS4s. They get, $1,000 gift cards from Best Buy. They get all these different things. And I know for a fact one of the other exposures of the gift bags that the men get are completely less than what the women are get. It's time for the NCAA and those sponsors to equal out, because those sponsors are making money on those young women playing on ESPN.
Yeah,
they're under TV contract and they making money. Don't get me wrong. It may not be just as much as the women, as much as the men, but it's growing. That women's tournament is growing bigger and bigger every year. It used to be 32 teams, now it's 64 teams. So now there's that. The disparity shouldn't be there, and at least not that much.
Right.
It should be where they get 6 weights and they get a whole get a whole gym, and that's just straight unfair. And I'm glad she's exposed them. I'm glad she brought the attention to the world to see how that entity, the NCAA, has been doing them dirty for so damn long.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put this comment out. I don't think that she's going to be blackballed. Like Corey said, I think what she's doing is she's just raising the disparity and causing us to have this conversation. I think there's going to be probably not backlash from the teams or backlash from the players, but there's going to be just, that conversation amongst the folks in control, behind the scenes. The operational folks are going to be like, oh man, she done came out here and told all our business. But this is a story that had to be told, and I'm proud of Sedona for actually doing this.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that it has to be the case. And the NCAA has been in the news more negatively than positively over the last few years, just about giving people back their Heismans or closing down inappropriately, shutting down whole conferences, whatever the case may be. And this just is not a good look at all. There's almost no way to make this right.
Yeah, you're supposed to be the governing body.
Yeah.
The governing body is supposed to oversee everything that goes on with NCAA, college athletics, and be treated fairly.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the fair process in that? Again, I understand money disparity. I understand if a school makes more money than the other school, how do you channel that out? That's fine, and I get that, but you need to be able to be transparent and display that out there. And definitely when it comes to tournaments like this, you need to be able to provide the same gifts and the same things for the men as for women.
That is true.
Because bottom line, they're all representing the school and they're all making monies for the school. Let's not forget that. Each one of those players are making money for the school. As long as they're on TV, they are getting a TV contract for that school and they are making some good dollars. I know the men's is making a little bit more because they're on primetime, but like I said, that women's is coming up because now they're primetime on ESPN now. So I know tall boys don't bring too much attention to the NCAA, so and don't think the institution doesn't come back for you. I agree with Tall Boy. I think they will come back in some form, but I don't think they want to take on the women's movement. I don't think they want that battle.
Yeah.
I believe they'll figure out a way to wash it under the rug like they've been. They've downplayed the story now that it's gotten out. They've kind of making sure they're sweeping it under the rug. But I do believe they'll dress it some form or fashion.
Yeah.
I agree with them.
Yeah, this is a good this is an honorable fight to have. So I'm glad she brought it up. If she didn't do it, somebody else would have. But I'm glad that she, being someone who's a recognized star athlete, well they all are, but someone who's out there doing their thing on the court, brought this up. So overall, this tournament though, bro, if you had a bracket, it's gone. If you had a bracket, it's busted.
It's funny because you said it because I was watching the ESPN stats. ESPN said I think they had over 4 million people played in the tournament, right? Selected their team.
Yeah.
As of yesterday, there was only 114 that were left that was intact. And I know today, since what's the name got upset, since Illinois got upset, there can't be no one intact.
Right. Hold on. What was her name? The sister that was out there praying with the team, and they messed around and up. Good night. Nobody is winning, and I don't know.
But I think this is a conversation we had a couple of weeks ago with Tallboy when he was on there. When we're talking about how the disparity of schools has changed, how small schools are recruiting for that 4-year kick for them teams to be really good, how the Gonzagas became good, and the Butlers, where these big schools like Texas, Illinois are recruiting for those superstar players that are usually there for 1 to maybe 3 years, and they're going off to the NBA. I think it's starting to show the talent and disparity between those small schools and big schools in basketball.
Yeah.
That gap has closed tremendously. There is nowhere the Dukes is the Dukes and all them are the greatest teams anymore. We could see a Chicago or a Florida A&M. Those schools are coming in, balling and taking their spot on the biggest stage of college basketball, and I'm happy for every last one of them.
Because when have you ever said Loyola Chicago? When have you ever gone to Vegas and put $20 on Loyola Chicago? Never, brother.
I mean, and let's not forget the HBCU.
Georgetown is gone. Georgetown is out.
Gone.
Oh my goodness, my.
So, but I mean, I was proud of Norfolk State. They got in the tournament. They lost against Gonzaga, but a HBCU that's normally not on the map from the SWAC, they don't usually get in. They got in. They won their first game to get in the tournament. They lost to Gonzaga, but way to represent HBCUs now. I mean, now that they kind of got their platform and they're out there on the map. They're showing it also in basketball. Cleveland State was out there playing. I mean, you're seeing these small schools that we've never ever heard of, that all these kids are playing really, really good hoop. And like I said, they're shining on the biggest stage. I mean, the biggest stage of everybody. Win, lose, or shine, to be there to represent. Because again, NCAA, we're talking about money. Let's talk about money. Because every school gets money when they're in the tournament. Yeah. Everybody gets money. Everybody. Now, the further you advance, you get more money.
Right.
Chicago is now in the Sweet 16. Man, they probably just bumped their budget. Their budget just probably got bumped to $1 million now.
Crazy.
A small school just made $1 million for athletic program.
Just a domino effect, right? Because again, just so more recruits, more coaches, more eyes watching, and you know who's going to benefit from this? Another school, Oral Roberts, brother. Yes. Oral Roberts is still playing. So I'm looking at they're ranked 15th. They're playing Florida. Later on tonight, I believe. But Oral Roberts is playing, and they're an upset.
Hey, man, I love it because, like I said, those schools, they're going to get the new gyms now. They're going to get the new uniforms. They're going to be able to go on those recruiting trips and recruit nationally now if they want to. They just set the tone for their whole university athletic program to get that big old boost that they needed to be able to have all the things the bigger schools has. Now, on that flip side, I'm wondering how the disappointment in those teams that are losing, like the Illinois, who's number one, how disappointed. I mean, what do you say about that program now? Like, hey, we got you to number one. Yeah, I got you to
like Texas. Yeah, like Texas.
Texas got upset too. Yeah. So we got Illinois number one that got upset. Texas got upset. I think there's a few other big discussions. I think West Virginia got upset too.
We've already talked Georgetown, and we've alrea talked about Duke gone, not even playing.
So Georgia Tech got bounced out.
Oof.
So all those teams got bounced out. Now when is the microscope going to focus on them? Like, okay, well, hey, we gave you everything. You got everything under the sun, and you're getting beat by some schools that's barely on the map.
Yeah, we don't want to call them scrubs, but hey, we didn't give you all the gym equipment that you wanted. We didn't give you all the coaches and conditioning and training. You got the leather seats in the locker room, not the fake stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
Right? Hey, they're doing it without. So, and you doing it with, and you out earlier than them. I hope there's some focus on that. And let's go to the Tom Izzo situation with Michigan State.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad
There we
Tall Boy
go.
brought that up.
Get it up.
Tom Izzo. I will say he's wrong in the way he handled it by grabbing the young man. I won't say he's wrong in trying to explain the young man or talking to the young man and getting him right on the court. But he shouldn't have grabbed him. And the young man should have pulled away from that thing. And also, I think that conversation should have been done in the locker room and not right there on the court where you're walking in. So I fault Tom Izzo for that because he's supposed to be the adult of the situation. But I don't mind a coach and a player disagreeing. I really don't, because that just shows both of them are passionate. One's trying to explain it from his lens what the situation was, and the other one's explaining it from his lens. I believe the way it was handled and the way it was done, that should have been done in the locker room. But see, the thing is about this situation, Tom Izzo's notorious for this, and he's never been reprimanded. It's time to reprimand him. You cannot handle players in front of national TV like you're physically touching them, pushing them, grabbing them, doing any of that. I don't mind the verbal altercation. That's fine. But he's notorious for doing this. He's done this more than one time. Yeah. So I hope the NCAA or Michigan State steps in and says something to him about it, at least gives him a verbal warning, slap his wrist, do something. Because at one point, somebody's not going to take them grabbing on them and doing that the right way. Yeah. One of the players is going to turn around and push him and says he's threatening. Now we're dealing with a lawsuit and it's all blown up on TV or something like that. So there needs to be something. They need to really talk about the situation and figure it out. Hopefully they can do it in-house in Michigan State. If not, hopefully the NCAA steps in and says something. But like I said, again, I don't mind him disciplining the player, talking to the player, telling him what he did wrong, or having a conversation with him. They should have waited till they got around that corner in that locker room.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, you see, I got it here on the screen, and you know, it's emotions are emotions, and if you ever lace them up, then you know you have those emotions. But yeah, coach, man, you know better. You're one of the giants of the sport of the coaching, and you can't be grabbing on somebody's kid like that, especially in today's world where everyone's got a camera, everyone's watching it, and you know what, you coach were in the wrong. But see, so think about. I don't even think Bobby Knight ever grabbed someone like that. No, but Coach Knight was always throwing chairs and always throwing.
Yeah. But see, my part about Izzo, my thing about Izzo, and now thinking about
that's funny. Corey said the same thing about Bobby Knight. Yeah.
He doesn't take any accountability though. Like Izzo hasn't taken any accountability of what he did wrong or what he says. He even in this press conference, he kind of blew it off. Oh, we just had a disagreement, and that was it. Oh, okay. Well, no, that's not just a disagreement. You had a heated argument. For one, it wasn't just a disagreement. And two, it came to a point where you had to put your hands on the guy and turn around. Again, I don't mind a coach coaching him, and I don't mind a player arguing. You're looking at it through two different lenses. Hash it out behind closed doors and talk about what's going on and get back on the right page. I think you reap what you sow. That's why Michigan State lost.
Ooh,
you know, you got in a situation like that. You're arguing. You're not on the same page. And that was the one bickering. He just happened to yell at him. Izzo was yelling at all the other players. The players were bickering amongst each other throughout the whole game. So obviously they weren't on the same page. That caused them to lose that game. But again, I think either Michigan State or NCAA needs to have a conversation with him.
Yeah,
and let him know you can't do that.
Yeah.
Period.
And he'll
get away with it. That's
where I was going.
It's gonna move on. Move on.
They're not. He's not the coach that they're going to use to make an example out of. Right. Yeah, again, he's going to get the slap on the wrist. He's going to have to probably do a public press release or an announcement. But again, he's one of the giants in the college sports field, and he's got to be better than that. And so I saw Corey wrote up that Coach Knight actually did choke someone. I kept thinking about Latrell Sprewell choking out his coach.
Carlismio, PJ Carlismio, something like that. Yeah.
But it's irregardless of the heat of the moment, the emotions, the tournament. You know, you're out there balling, and everyone's sweating and things like that. Things aren't going your way. You just got to have more control, and especially the coach has to have more control in those types of situations. And
Tall Boy made a point. Times are different. You got to change with the times. You can't. Mm-hmm. We're just in a different era where, like you said, everything's under the spotlight, everything's under the camera, and they're looking for a story. Times have just changed. You cannot act that way no more. You can't do that. And I understand you say you can't be mad at Izzo, but I think you can't hold him responsible. You can't hold him responsible. He needs to change with the times. He needs to know better. You can't put your hands on him. Mm-hmm. I think, and like I said, I encourage the disagreement and argument. I don't mind that. That's fine. That's anybody that's played at a high level of sports.
Yeah.
You have to be able. You're gonna have that disagreement with your coach and be able to go at it. That's fine. But I think there's a time and a place. It can't be out there. It can't be out there in the hallway during halftime where he sees you grabbing the player and him pulling away. It just doesn't. That doesn't work that way. You got to wait till you get around that corner in that locker room.
Man. Close the door.
Chew him a new one. And
you can get as loud as you want to, and just say, we had a family meeting, and then leave it at that. That's so that's code for y'all. Every time you hear a team say, we had a family meeting, a team meeting. There was some 4-letter words dropped, and there was some swinging. But you know what? It all stays within the family.
Because that stays in house. That stays within the family. Yeah. We handle it within the family. Like I said, and the reason why I'm hard on Izzo is because this isn't the first time. I think he did it a couple of tournaments ago. He got into it with somebody on the court as well. There was kind of an altercation like that. Just got to be smarter than that as a head coach. He should know. Basically, he should know better. He should know better.
Yeah, and especially he's got the good people around him, right? Because like Corey said, I mean, Michigan State. I mean, they're one of the season-winning franchises, programs, and all that. I almost wonder, does this? And I'm gonna ask you this question: does this bring about not ammunition, but does this bring about a means for folks who are trying to get into head coaching positions that don't have an opportunity right now to say, you know what, I wouldn't act like that. Give me the opportunity. So we're always talking about diversity within the head coaching positions, right? Does this give someone who's sitting out there on the sidelines who's trying to get maybe that Michigan State position and to roll up to the AD, the athletic director, and say, you know what, I wouldn't do that. I'm gonna come at the athletes with X's and O's and strategy. I'm not gonna lay my hands on somebody. So I wonder, can someone use this to backfire against Coach Izzo? You know what I mean?
That's no. I don't think they can use it again. Not against him, Izzo. You can use it as an example. Say I wouldn't act that way if you're trying to get a job, but his resume is so strong.
True.
As far and he's been winning so much. And again, he's brought so much money to the university.
Yeah.
Hey, he gets a pass when it comes into some of those kind of things. But I do believe that his situation is an example which you don't act like a coach. I wouldn't act like that if I was in that similar situation. I always believe incidents like that is always a teachable moment. This is just a teachable moment. Like, hey, you can't act that way. You can't do that when you're especially in a high profile situation like this tournament. We don't want our coaching staff to be reflected that way or acting that way towards our players. Get them around that corner, get them in that locker room, and then you guys discuss whatever you have to discuss. I think that's the way the situation should have been handled. It's some mishaps, man. And Coach Izzo's a great coach, man. I mean, he's in the tournament damn near every year. I mean, he's been there so long. It is what it is. So I'm okay with it. I just don't like the way it was handled and the way it was portrayed in the media. And I think they'll clean it on up. But I do think he needs to issue an apology saying I can't act that way anymore. And a little bit of accountability on the university level as well.
I got you. Let me go ahead and let's get focused right quick. I want to put the screen on myself just for a minute. I need to give a shout out to my boy, Sammy Cool. I am rocking his swag today for Team No Sleep. So, Sammy, I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for what you do. Press and Sew is the name of the organization, black-owned business based out of the East Coast that put this together. So, shouts out to Press and Sew and shouts out to my man, Sammy Cool, rocking the superstar gear today. So, boom. There's my commercial for the day.
Yeah, man. Got to show them love, man.
Got to show some love. Let's stay on basketball. Let's go on up to the big fellas. Let's go on up to the folks that are legitimately getting paid for playing. Brother LeBron James. Ooh,
yes.
Big blow. Game break, all my Apple Watches was blowing up. My phone was blowing up. LeBron James takes a fall and is out indefinitely.
Yeah, I mean, he has a high ankle sprain as they're describing it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he'll be out, indefinitely for the NBA is three or 4 weeks for them to heal.
Yeah.
All the Lakers is trying to do is get to the playoffs, get Anthony Davis healthy, get LeBron there, and get to the playoffs, and they can work their magic. It doesn't matter if they're the 1 seed or the 8 seed. At this point with COVID, with no fans there, it really doesn't make that big of a difference, right? It's all in the quiet room, traveling, just playing.
That's true.
So I don't think you have that six man to be in that situation. I believe it's a blow for them now to figure out where they're going to seed it and kind of where they and now it's going to mess up their chemistry going into the playoffs.
That's what I'm talking about.
Because now you got 2 players that are hurt big time. I mean, we could also go look at Steph. Steph's hurt. The
Mm-hmm.
Warriors is butting on that 8th spot, and Steph, falls down and hits his butt on the crack of a stairs
Yeah.
where he bruises his I don't know, I forgot the right term, but he bruised himself on his backside,
Yeah.
and now he's out for 4 weeks. 4 weeks dealing with that. So I think right now, this last stretch in the NBA, the jogging for seeding. Obviously, with LeBron not being there, it won't be the Lakers in there. They'll just be playing that kind of hang on. I think with the Warriors, if Curry doesn't come back no time soon, I think they're out of the playoffs. They'll be out of it, and then, but the Lakers are in a better position because if Anthony Davis comes back and him get back, they got at least one series to figure out their timing and still win.
Yeah.
And depending on who they play, they should be a-okay.
I'm thinking so too, but it's just there's always everything LeBron does. There's always news around it. There's always press. There's always speculation, pros, cons, or whatever.
Yeah.
I really think that the Lakers need to step up though, and just find the next person, the next man up. Look, AD really, in my opinion, is their guy. AD needs to be the man that's out there running the point. Yeah, I mean, I know he's not a guard, but he needs to be out there running the point. He needs to be calling the plays. He needs to be the person out there leading the team into the next generations, into the next.
The offense needs to go through AD. Yeah, I give you the offense needs to go through AD.
Yeah.
But I do believe now. I mean, the question that opens up for me now is, do the Lakers now make a trade? Now that LeBron's gone or LeBron's down for a while and AD's not 100% now. Is now the time for them to make that trade to get that third piece they've been looking kind of all year to kind of get? Do they package up something and try to go get somebody to bring them one in to kind of carry them over the hump? I'm not sure what the Lakers plan on doing, but if there's any time to do it, it would be now. It would be now to be able to do it. Grab that person and bring them on. I know they've been trying to package Kuzma and Marc Gasol and Pope Caldwell to kind of bring somebody on.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be their opportunity to kind of do it. And this is Kuz. If Kuz, you're right, Tallboy. Kuz doesn't show up and show he can be that leader.
He needs to. I was a big fan of his last season, and I think Kuzma needs to come in and stop talking and actually start playing.
And more playing.
Yeah.
But again, are we asking too much for Kuz to be able to take on the people like the Clippers and all them and be able to? I mean, is he ready to be able to be that superstar when he's playing the Clippers and Utahs and the Portlands? I don't know if he's that dude right now. So I'm saying, if the Lakers plan on staying afloat where they're in now, you better make a trade. If they don't and they're okay with them jogging on the playoff spot and falling maybe down to 6 or 7, then keep everything the way it is and then make everything go. And I agree with you. Ingram was the better player. They traded the wrong person. They should have got rid of Kuz and kept Brandon Ingram.
Yeah. I'm trying to find who was my guy. So I'm looking at. I know we got. No, it was Caruso. It was Alex Caruso. I was surprised by his ability to go out there and actually tough it up a little bit, right? Take some shots, take some blows, and drive to the paint. So him, Marc Gasol. Look, I know he's been around for a little while, but come on, Mark, we paying you $2.5 million, brother. I'm gonna say they are, but he's getting $2.5 million. He needs to get up in there and get in the mix a little more.
I mean, my opinion only, and I'm not a Laker fan. I'm not, and I'll put that on record to anybody. I'm not a Laker fan at all.
Me either. I'm just bringing out the controversy.
But the Lakers miss Rondo right now,
and
the reason I'll tell anybody the reason why they did what they did in the championship last year, that playoff run last year, was because playoff Rondo showed up. When he showed up, he was able to hit the open three. He's always played great defense, and he's a great facilitator.
Yeah,
Schroeder's a better scorer, but he's not a better facilitator than Rondo. So they miss Rondo already. So with Rondo not being there, being in Atlanta now, you have Dwight Howard, who's that backup guy that was an energy guy. Him and JaVale McGee, who are both energy guys coming off the bench at center. They're there, and you got Harrell, who's doing a really great job. I think it's going to be up to like Morrison to come off the bench to be able to step up and score some more points for him. Schroeder's going to have to take a more active role in scoring. Kuzma's going to have to be the leader of the team right now. Fair or unfair, he's the leader of the team. Martell's got to be able to come off the bench as well to get some more points for him. And then Carlos Pope is going to have to be consistent. He can score on anybody. He just got to be consistent. If they can get all those pieces to gel together, they'll be fine. But I don't think the Lakers are going to be patient enough to wait for them to get it together. I think they're going to say, you know what? If y'all don't get it together the next couple of games, we're going to have to package something up and get y'all out of here.
We're going to have to make some moves.
Yeah, because they've already said they wanted Bradley Beal. Since I'm living in Southern California, they want Bradley Beal there. They want that third piece of the puzzle. DeMarcus DeMar Rosen from San Antonio. He wants to be traded. Lakers would be an ideal fit for him right now if they can match the numbers making a trade. LaMarcus Aldridge's contract is about to be bound. Man, they go get a big man again, LaMarcus Aldridge to come over there to take up some of the slack. I mean, if this would have happened 2 weeks ago, believe me, Griffin would have landed in L.A. Blake Griffin would have landed in L.A.
Yeah.
But since it happened now, and Blake Griffin is in Brooklyn, now they got to scramble to figure out that next person to bring on.
Maybe they'll bring back JaVale McGee. It's just jokes.
Hey, man, no
disrespect. Every time I think about JaVale, I think about how Shaq used to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
Shaq and the fool. And Tallboy coming with 2.5 is the league minimum. No, brother, I'm seeing some other players that's making around 1.6, 1.7, 1.5. Look, brother, if you want to come on the show, I will send you the link so you can be a guest contributor to the day's festivities. You said you were only here for a minute. You've been here for the past 31 minutes, brother. Come on live.
Let's shift to the new league, the 16 to 18-year-old league.
Man,
this coming on.
Yeah,
this is going to be a game changer. Yeah, this is reality, and this is really going to happen. This right here will be, I think, the game changer from high school basketball going into the next level at the NFL. And let's thank LaMelo for this.
Yeah. So let's set precedents before we get into it, and I'll let you get into it because I know again this touches a lot of positive vibes. Overtime, sports media company called Overtime is starting a basketball league for 16 to 18-year-olds and is going to pay at least $100,000 a year for these young players to bring their talents to the Overtime League. And this, I see more positive than I see negative out of this, to be honest with you. And I shouts out to Melo, shouts out to everyone that's involved from behind the scenes. Yeah. I've been thinking about this for the past couple of days, and again, just trying to be the devil's advocate and find out where there may be some negativity into this. Does this mean that a lot of these youngsters aren't going to go the traditional school route and going to focus on maybe going towards this? But right now, this is checking all the boxes for me in terms of providing opportunity for some of these young athletes.
The only thing you lose here is your amateur status. That's it. LaMelo has shown, and I say shout out to LaMelo because LaMelo has showed the way that you don't have to go to traditional 4-year college in order to make it to the NBA. He did his thing. He played. He went over to overseas, did his thing, balled out, and now he's in the lead, and now he's one of the top. He will be rookie of the year this year, no doubt. The way he keeps playing, he's going to be rookie of the year. He showed that there's a different mechanism and different direction you can go to make it to the league. Mm-hmm. This right here is saying instead of kids having to go overseas and play, let's keep that talented 16 to 18-year-olds here in the U.S. and let them play in the league here, and we'll pay them, they're just due $100,000 a year to go. Man, that a kid that's a sophomore that's going to make $100,000 a year, his sophomore and junior year from 16, he's going to make $100,000 his junior year and $100,000 his senior. To make $200,000 to play basketball, something he was going to do already. Mm-hmm. And something he was already looking to go to the league, or if he's not good enough to go to the NBA, he's going to go play overseas at that point and make more money and utilize his talent. I don't really see nothing wrong with that. Yeah, college education is very important, but these are talking about the elite guys, the guys that were going to be one and done and leaving early anyway from getting their degree. And this provides an opportunity they can always go back and get their degree. Yeah. I believe longevity is fine, but I mean, I don't know if I don't think it's a bad move. I think it's up to each individual parent and family to discuss what's best for them, and this is a valuable option. Yeah. This is not a bad option. This is a valuable option to have instead of not having any options at all except to go to a 4-year university and still be in debt for the next couple of years and maybe get your degree or not and leave out, go to the NBA. So I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this league starting.
Me too, man. And look, I'm all about higher education. I'm all about doing those kinds of things, continue on, and always being an active learner. But again, when you start looking at family situations, individual situations, and folks again who are out there balling and have this innate skill, have this innate talent, and their drive, their motivation is taking care of their family. Mm-hmm. Now here's an avenue. Now here's a venue. Now here's an organization that says, you know what, you come out, you play with us, we're gonna give you 6 figures out the gate minimum, right, to come out and play. Now, that doesn't mean you have to continue to do that long term. I mean, obviously have a fallback plan, go back, get that degree, go get that piece of paper. But I think this is, again, I couldn't find as many negatives as I could positives about this. Yeah, there's always going to be something, but I think this is a valid alternative to those kids who are saying, I'm not the college type, and some aren't. Right. Some folks aren't the college type. Some would rather go to a trade school. Some would rather go straight into the workforce or whatever the case may be. But a lot of these kids, the small percentage of them who are at the elite level from a sports perspective and now have an opportunity to go out there and make some decent money playing.
I'm going to make it perfectly. I'm going to be real. When you graduate from college at the age of 22, 21, 22, 23, how many people come out with six figures? A job, on your first job,
maybe owing six figures in student loans.
but I'm saying, typically you will make a little bit of money. Right. You'll make a little bit of money. The top I've ever seen was six figures, but that was for engineering. Most basketball players, I don't think, are engineers. They're not going that route. Mm-hmm. But most of the engineers that would come out and maybe make six figures. But the typical person that graduates from college, unless you're going maybe to an Ivy League, you're gonna make maybe $60,000 a year coming out, and that's being fair. I think it might be even less. It might be 40,000, but at least $60,000 a year. These gentlemen will be making at least $200,000 as a minor at 16 and 17, 18, right? Or maybe they could possibly do it for 3 years. They can make $300,000. With that being said, that changes a family's wealth, bar none. Mm-hmm. My 16-year-old bringing, 3 years is going to make $300,000. We're no longer living here in the projects. We got a chance to move out. We're not living in the mansion, but we live in nice middle class. Yeah. He's doing something he was already going to do, and if he develops the way he's going to do, he's going to have opportunity in the NBA. And if he doesn't develop in the NBA, he's going overseas, which he was going to do anyway.
Right. Exactly.
So this kind of just negates that process of pondering college. That's it. It just negates the process of pondering college. I think it now says, hey, I'm a 16-year-old person, which I'm eligible to get a job. Now it's time for me to go get paid and live it. And let's be honest. If it's that guy that's a really good player, he's going to get sponsorships. Yeah. He's going to get endorsement deals. He's going to do all those things. They're going to try to sign him early. He's going to get an agent that's going to be able to help him do the things he needs to do. I think it's it's a damn good opportunity for them to be able to go. Now, I hope they have some curriculum to say within there. If you're 16 years old and you're going to make this team, that you still have to be in school. At least get your high school diploma. Yeah. Whether it be they got tutors on the road or whatever they want to do, but make sure they're still attending some type of school format where they can graduate their high school diploma. So when they decide whether they're going to the league, whether they decide they're going overseas to go play, they have that diploma to kind of back off if they decide to go to college in the later time.
Yeah, a lot of those specifics haven't been released to the public. Mm-hmm. They talked a little bit about, the financials for Overtime Elite League are in place and sound. Haven't released a lot of those, but the story is saying it will start in September with 30 players and will be based in a single location. Again, that single location hasn't been released, but we'll see what happens. Right. Again, it's opportunity. I think it's a valid opportunity for some of these young players. After September, then we'll start breaking it down and having a conversation. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are the other sports? Where are the opportunities for the women? Where are you taking care of the players and so we'll start having all those other conversations later. But let's not throw water on the fire of this positive move right here.
Absolutely. I think it's great though. I like it a lot though. I like that look.
Let's see here. Look at Zion. If he could have joined the league, he would have had money. He would have made that money in 1 year, but not have gotten the money doing 1 year in college and coming out getting endorsements and rookie minimum.
Yeah.
No, that's a true point. That's a valid point.
He'd have went straight. He'd have went straight from that league to the NBA, made $300,000. Parents would have been living okay, better situation already. Yep. Went straight to the league, got everything going, and probably would have had his endorsement deal a lot earlier.
Done. Right.
That's just the reality of it. I mean, those people that started that league are actually ingenious because them putting that situation on the forefront is going to open up those doors for that endorsement deal to come faster, change the situation. And let's be honest, they're going to make money off of it. Yeah. You have the top high school player, 30 high school players in the nation playing in your league, supposedly in your league playing. They've they're already getting money under the table. We're gonna be all the way transparent. A lot of those people are already getting money under the table. Those small, those AAU teams, they get sponsorship by Nikes. Those guys get hired by Nikes, and I wouldn't say just Nike, by Adidas and Under Armour, and all them guys hire these guys to represent their product for these young men that wear the gear. Now it's just gonna be on a professional level. They just making it legit, man. They just flipping the page to make it legit all of a sudden.
Yeah,
so I'm happy for them. It's a good deal.
It's like moonshine, right? Making that liquor actually on the up and up, right?
Yeah, now they're gonna put it in the real bottle, put a label on top of it, and sell it in the store. That's all they're gonna do. So it's good.
I love it, and I love it, and we appreciate you, brother. We see you coming with the controversy, and we love. This is what we talk about, the social impact of sports. So if you were able to come on screen and talk a little bit more, we would appreciate you too. You don't agree with this league, but that's all right. Right, that's everyone has their opinion, and I know you have a different perspective because again, you were part of the leagues, right, and you were actually in that whole world. So would love to maybe have this conversation with you as well at a future date, and especially when we can have, because we were going to have a guest on today and talk a little bit about the role of the person. We won't necessarily say the fact that we had to reschedule, but
I'll shout him out. Yeah, my man Dante Lee. He's a former football player at Sacramento State University. He played football there, got his journalism degree, and now he's a writer for the Big Ten. He's a freelance writer for the Big Ten, so he covers all sports in depth in the Big Ten. Big guy, he follows Ohio State very strong. He was going to give us some perspective of what's going on in the Big Ten with everything that's going on. Unfortunately, he had some ill situation, a COVID situation in his family, so he couldn't join today. But he'll join in the future. But his background, he just wanted to share his perspective from a writer standpoint, how the student athletes are being treated in the Big Ten, what's going on in there, and give us some more light, some more in-depth light on what's going on in college sports overall, because he follows everything. Yeah, which would be a great perspective for us to have.
Love it. All right, now we may get this man to join on camera. Now he's asking me for the link. He wasn't very clear in his comment earlier. I'm like, the same link that I give you every week for our show.
Tall boy ready to join. Are you ready to get down?
He ready to get on screen and do some things. I see my boy Sammy watching. Boy, you saw me rocking your shirt, so I appreciate you too, sir. I tell you what, let's hold on going to one of the next main stories until Tallboy comes on. But what do you have? I want to end the show with that one particular image that you sent me. So yeah. I want to end on that note. So I don't want to talk about that just yet.
Okay.
What else have you got going on? Again, from the world of sports, from the world of coaching, from the world of just training, things that you're doing from your perspective in your organization.
Yeah. Right now it's heightened because high school football is back in California for this shortened season. Mm-hmm. So everything is all the momentum and everything is focused on there. I think it's a great mechanism for the class of 2021 to be able to get some film out there, be able to start to build a relationship with coaches and do all those good things. I'm sorry, class of 2022. Class of 2021, these are seniors that are trying to get the last minute film, play with their friends, have one last season, which is great. And I think as soon as this season's over in April, it's now time for us to shift probably back to training, getting ready for the guys that are going to college, the guys that are going ready to go to junior college, and getting the class of 2022 ready for their actual season. I'm looking forward to now summer camps will be coming back. So now there'll be, the USC camps will be here, the UCLA camps will be here, and so on and so on. So I'm looking forward to that to kind of get these kids back out there and get back to the normalcy, what happens during the summer, and helping them build a relationship with coaches and doing those kind of good things. And me personally, my organization, I'm looking to start to have those candid conversations with coaches and student athletes so we can kind of mend that gap so they can discuss and talk.
Love it. All right, man. I'm not going to, he's dialed in, but all I see is a seatbelt and his neck. Before I bring
him on the road, man. On the road, yeah.
Before I bring this man on camera, I'm gonna need him to at least get it together here. Hold on, brother. Let's go ahead and do this.
The floor is yours, man. Yeah.
What's odd? And please be careful while you driving. Good Lord.
What do you have me on? Like a little bubble?
I got you. I got you in the bubble, guy, dog. Talk to us, brother. What's going on? You chiming in, you leaving all these comments. Hopefully not while you driving too. Now he don't know what he's doing. He's turning his camera side.
No, I'm not driving. This Hit the Spot is driving.
Shouts out there. Hit the Spot. Turn your camera the other way, though. Turn your camera.
Nah. Okay.
There you go.
Nah, here I am. There you go. How about that?
Yeah,
Now
don't mess with her because she's driving.
Now, why is it that you're looking at? Okay, there. You should have me. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Now we can't interrupt with the driving because she want to play her jagged edge. I promise now. So you can't be messing with her while she on the road, while she doing all the driving.
I heard that.
All right, so I got to figure out why I can't see myself. There we go.
There
all
you
right,
go.
So
tell us your perspective because we were going back and forth. You were chiming in. Appreciate you for bringing some perspective. But you seem so specifically about this overtime league. You have some different perceptions and perspectives on that. So talk to us, brother.
Okay, so you got to think, when I graduated in 2001, the NBA D League, which is now the G League, just started. And so when it first started, they were saying, hey, this is players to get noticed, to be able to play locally and, get pulled up. Now, the D League or G League has been going on for 20 plus years now, right? Mm-hmm. How many players have actually been called up from that league? There was really no money in that league, but it was the opportunity to get seen as an athlete and to, get that call up. Now you get a few, one or two players, one token player that gets called up, or they send that guy that got drafted, down to, get a little bit more development. But I mean, if this league has been going on for 20 plus years and this is the NBA, right? You're saying, okay, you're making $100,000. Okay, who are the financiers behind this? Are they really going to be able to keep that money coming in? I mean, it's not like it's LeBron James saying I'm investing and I'm going to make sure that ESPN gets that contract of that TV money, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like I said, I think that the overseas market has always been something that's been stable. Me playing overseas for multiple years, you know that money is good as long as you go to the right team or you got the right organization behind you. Because I mean, there's always those people that always say you come back tomorrow for your money when they owe you on the first, and it'd be like the 15th. It'd be the 15th when you finally, get frustrated that I'm not playing until I get my money. But I mean, I think the overseas market, like what Melo did going to Lithuania. Getting the opportunity to play first, you're playing in a league in a gym or an arena that's packed. You get a chance to get real game experience. You get a chance to see what it's like to have crazy fans. Whereas, like you said, you get these kids that, okay, you telling them that they're getting $100,000, and yeah, you get the top high school players, but I mean, honestly, will they really get that money? I mean, and remember, it's only going to be for the top 10 or maybe the top 50 players that are those 100 players. You'd be better off just going to school or going overseas. And I think you had a couple guys that did the overseas route, made some good money overseas, whether it was the China Basketball League, somewhere in the Euro League. They did their 1 or 2 years. You're playing against that international talent, and you're getting a tough and it's good competition. So I mean, when you look at the NBA All-Star game, I mean, how many of those guys were from overseas? So I mean, the league is getting they're drafting players from overseas. Right. No, so I mean, I get what you're saying about them giving you $100,000, but remember, this organization or this company has only been. I mean, this is a startup, and we all know about startups.
True.
Let's be honest about startups.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They talk a good game in the beginning, but a startup don't always fall through with what they say they're gonna do. Now, it sounds good, but until you see Fox Sports or ESPN or TNT jump on it with some guaranteed TV money.
Now you're telling the truth. Now you're telling the truth.
No, you're right.
Yeah, and the main reason that I saw this because look, I spend all my Monday through Friday TV watching on CNBC, so I saw this on CNBC on the Financial Network and all that. And so let me bring up this part of that story, right? So it says Overtime's revenue comes from two sources. One is indirectly aligning with brands by integrating them into its content and making money off of video ads. So that speaks to us, the three of us, really, understanding that content creation, video ads, getting revenue from that. So that's one reason, one way. The other is direct revenue via e-commerce, where they say makes millions of dollars from apparel, and millions of dollars is in quotes. So, to your point, tall boy, yeah, are these kids going to get some of that cut of this jersey money, of the money from the shoes, the money from the jerseys, the hats, and all of that type of stuff?
And not to cut you off, but think about it. How many people are going to come to these games? You already have the G League. And when I played in the USBL, the ABA, the WBA, the D League, I mean, you remember you're going to some of these small towns that, there's nothing to do in these Roanoke, Virginias. There's nothing to do in Norfolk, wherever Norfolk State, whatever that city is in. Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Or you going to a Dodge City, Kansas. Yes, there's probably 5,000 people that live in the city, but are they all coming to a basketball game? Are they all going to put that $10, $20 down for each person to come to that game? I mean, it's not like it's a Zion or a LeBron or a Steph. I mean, these are the top high school players, but they don't have a name. Now, LaMelo has a name, so people will come out for LaMelo. But will they come out for who's the number one recruited high school player this year? I mean,
I know
Mikey
Williams.
Yeah,
I know.
Do they have the buzz? Do they have the buzz to bring out fans?
Gotcha.
Like LaMelo, because of social media, he is a phenom already. When you hear LaMelo Ball, it's like, okay, about him. And as crazy as you want to talk about him, like Michael Jordan said, he's already over delivered on what he's already exceeded our expectations, shall we say. But can you say that about the number one or the number two draft pick? They don't even have the buzz. Like LeVar Ball said, my kids puts butts in the seats. What does this other kid do? What does that other kid do? No, people want to see LaMelo. They don't care about Anthony Edwards or James Wiseman. They don't have. And unfortunately, these kids, they don't understand about the brand. So, you go find 10 more LaMelos, then you got something. But right now, there's only one LaMelo. So, you got to have a LeVar Ball out here. As much as people don't like.
I was going to say, as much as we was tired of Ball talking all the time, as much as we was talking about him, tired of talking about that big baller brand, he showed it did all right with the marketing.
Branded his kids.
Yes,
he branded all three of his kids, and
he
unfortunately, the second one just did not do. He really messed up when that incident happened over in China. And had the daddy not pulled him out of UCLA, he would have been all right. If he would have just took the discipline, but he got blackballed.
God.
That's the unfortunate part about it. He got blackballed. No different from this young lady that made this announcement at the NCAA. She's gonna get blackballed. She will. It will affect her unless she changes or she graduates from college and she does not deal with basketball at all.
Wow.
She's not. Because remember, basketball is so huge, but it's a real small community on who cuts those checks. So you don't think that those NCAA people say, well, if she did this to us, will make you think she's not going to do that to you?
Yeah, that's true. You make some good points. I believe. Talk about that. That's right. Let me talk back about the league, the league. Do you think that'll be beneficial for anyone? No, taking that league, because I believe you're right.
The top two, the top five. So remember, look, LeVar Ball started the JBA, and he said, I started that whole league for my son and my son only. How many other people can there was some talent in the JBA, but how many other people did we hear that came out of the JBA? Nobody. So it's only going to be one or two highlights, just like the D League. When the D League first started, it was like, this is the place to be. Like, if you don't make it to the NBA, you can play here. Whereas opposed to you going overseas, go build that name, and then you come back. But unfortunately, we're 20 plus years in. How many players can you say they got a guy that's a lifer? He's been in the G League for 8-9 years now. Don't get me wrong. $35,000, $40,000 is not a lot of money, but doing something that you love, I mean, $40,000 is not a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but
But it's cool.
but
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Now when I played, they had 3 different tiers. They had the 15,000, the 25,000, and then I think it was the 40,000, or maybe 35,000 or something like that. So it was like you're either an A, B, or C player, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was a C because I was fresh out of college. I had, no years of service. And, I was saying 2.5 was the league minimum for Mark Gasol because he's got the 10 years, 10 plus years of service. So that's his league minimum.
Gotcha.
So you guys are jumping on Mark Gasol saying he needs to step up. I mean, he's got the league minimum. I mean, you're not paying him big bucks to come out there and make a name for himself. I mean, the win for y'all made him a service player. I'm in here, get a couple rebounds, defend, and shoot that 3 ball. But you didn't say I need you to come out here and win games for $2.5 million.
Yeah.
So
it all comes down to the money. It all comes down
it's funny because you gave us a whole different perspective, and I'm glad you did because I can only look at it from the surface because I've never been in that circle, and especially the background. So that's an interesting perspective that you give about. You're right. It may be advantageous for you just to stay in school and pursue it after that. Because I like the point you bring. It's a startup, and we know startups. Hey, if you don't make it past the past 6 months, you close down, right? And with them saying, now that money's going, because if you do exactly, you forfeit, you give up all your amateur status at that point. So if you're a 16-year-old, you decide to play and it closes in 6 months, you can't go to college no more. Your only opportunity is to possibly go overseas if you're good enough to make it there. That means you got to take on the agent. You probably got debt at that point because you got to pay your agent and do all that stuff because he's going to pay for you to go travel, to go try out and do all those other things, being a high school guy. So you're right. It's something that a parent really has to really weigh the options. If this is a real deal, you really have to weigh your options and make sure it's the right scenario for you.
So most parents don't know because they've never been down that road. It's like, I mean, if you didn't play college sports and you've already been down this road, you wouldn't know, shall we say, how this works, if that makes sense. But somebody like me who's been down that road, I know, like, all right, well, don't go this route, go this route. Well, here's your pros and cons on both sides of it. Just like you said, y'all were gung-ho about this league until I jumped on and gave you a different take, and said, hey, well, hold on, let's just think about that.
Well, and that's the reason behind the discussion. We definitely want to have that discussion. So,
I mean, but like I said, you going overseas, I mean, you got to think about it. It's already a built-in fan base. The league already has the money because they've been doing it for umpteen years. Because I mean, people have been playing ball since the 60s and the 70s overseas, right? So, I mean, you're playing in front of a huge crowd. So now, so it's like some of those crowds are like those soccer crowds where if you lose, player might get shot or killed. Like I remember when I played in Uruguay and they would have full riot gear.
Wow.
And it was like, man, they got military gear on, they got bazookas outside, they got machine assault rifles. Yeah, they had all of that over in Uruguay.
Not to interrupt you, Talbot, but I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago. Remember that big fight in China? They had a big fight on the court. It was in China. I was in China then. I was actually supposed to go to that game.
Wow.
We couldn't get to the game because they got into a fight. The players got into a fight on the thing. It was an American player and the Chinese player got into a fight on the court. So you're right about passion and about the crowds. I mean, the crowd was like, I think they said like 60,000 in a basketball game. They don't even make that in the U.S. So I think the point that you made that now that they struck a nerve with me is the longevity they have, the history they have over there, and they have the reputation. They know they will pay. Even from Australia to Italy to Lithuania to China, they will pay. This new starter league, now that I think about it even more so, even though the payroll is only $3 million, there's a lot more expenses going into maybe more like $5 million. Because if you're trying to do everything you're supposed to do right, do they really have the $5 million to back? And is that the $5 million to make sure there's a longevity for at least 3 years for the first 16-year-old that signs? Because if it's not 3 years and you can't pay that guy for 3 years, he just lost all the opportunity in the world for himself to get to that lead in the NBA and develop by going to college and everything. So that part really struck a nerve with me. I do believe that league does have some advantages for some people, but for some, it's not an advantage if there is going to be an opportunity. If it's not going to last for 3 years, it's not a good opportunity at all. Point blank.
You're gonna pigeonhole these kids, and they're
Yes.
gonna be blackballed.
I see it now.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying the correct word, but I'm saying blackball because you're basically hurting all these top tier talent kids that chose not to go to college. Look at Ben Simmons. You know, he comes in from Australia. He goes to LSU. He tells you straight up, I'm not going to school. I'm not going to class. I'm just here to play ball. And as soon as this semester is over with, that's it. I'm declaring myself for the NBA draft, and that's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, let's just say he doesn't go to LSU. He goes to play in this league. Okay, he's that phenomenal of a talent. But nobody would have known who he was because, one, it's LSU. It's guaranteed ESPN, guaranteed, college basketball. Yep. You're getting exposure. Are you going to get that same exposure? Maybe, maybe not. With this new league. I mean, does JBA get any exposure? Does the D League get any exposure? I mean, I'm just talking. Does the USBL or the ABA get any exposure? There's some real serious talent up in there. Ronnie Fields, who was Kevin Garnett's teammate, he was one of my teammates my rookie year. I mean, Ronnie Fields is one of the best Chicago basketball players. Like, he's one of the top 5 all-time greats.
Wow.
In Chicago, and he played in the USBL and the ABA and never made it to the league. I mean, Google Ronnie Fields, and it's like, why did he not make it to the NBA?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
now
they think about look at all the New York basketball players that never made it, that should have made it. There's a lot of them, but once again, maybe been going to the right university, maybe just getting seen on the national stage at the NCAA tournament. Maybe they might want to just take a chance on the kid, like, hey, let me take a chance on him. He hit that big shot. Let me bring him in for a workout. Will you get that workout at the JBA? Probably not.
But like I said, I love your point. If they can't pay, if you're 16-year-olds and you sign and it folds within that 3 years and you don't make that $300,000 that you're banking on, that kid's whole eligibility and situation is gone. It's changed at that point.
But see, here's the problem that you have, and I'm not trying to be funny or disrespectful to the parents, but this is a parent situation where it's like, I get it. You come from disproportionate family, or you come from a negative or bad neighborhood. It's like, at what point? And I know I'm switching gears here, but at what point do you value education? It's like, just go, if college is not for you, all right, go get your core classes and try and pick up a trade, like, try and learn something. But if you're saying I'm just going to bank on this basketball and my knee go out, or I tweak my ankle, or I snap off on a coach, like, what do you do?
We ain't talking
then?
about that part. Yeah. We haven't talked about that part at all.
I mean, what do you do then? Like, look at this. Like, y'all, I told y'all to get off of Izzo earlier, and y'all decided to get on Izzo. And it's like, this boy yanked himself. So now his draft stock just got hurt, even though, and not because Tom Izzo is a legend. And he's slap on the wrist. Tom Izzo is like, he can't, remember, this is a good old boys league. These white coaches, they've been doing this for years. And if you can't take their boys, no, that's a grown-ass man. Let's just call it what it is. That boy 20-something years old, 21. I think he's a senior or a junior. He's 20, 21 years old. He's a man. He ain't no kid. But they always say, our boys, our guys. They don't never say our men. When you get to the NBA, you're now a man. No, you're a man when you turn 18. But you always treat them like they're little kids. And like he said, Tom Izzo is being Tom Izzo. Bobby Huggins is being Bobby Huggins. Bobby Knight is being Bobby Knight. So, I mean, it's like, that you signed up for that university. You know what that culture brings.
That's a decent point.
So for you to get mad when he says you didn't close out, or you didn't put a hand up, or you didn't box out, and then you snatch your arm out, and he's like, look, boy, I'm talking to you, and everything is heightened because it's the Final Four. So I mean, not Final Four, but it's the tournament.
Yes, the tournament.
So like Tom Izzo said, that ain't nothing. Like we have more heated battles
Yeah.
in practice. You should have seen some of my battles, and if you talk to any of my college teammates, they'll tell you I was crazy. I would go off on the coach, curse him out. He'd curse me out. Hell, one time the coach and we were in the middle of practice, and he told me to go to the locker room. He tells me, looking at it like this: if I whoop this coach's, you know what, then I lost my scholarship. You know, if I go and if I fight him and I lose, then you know the guys on the team ain't gonna look at me the same anyway. So how do
You can't win.
So how do you so how do you diffuse a situation like that? And you got a snap second to think, because if I move right and it's the wrong move, if I move left and it's the wrong move, you got to make this. It was a fork in the road, and that was the time I had to humble myself, because I could have lost my scholarship, or I could have been the laughing stock on the team because the coach did knock me out. One or the other. So what do you do in a situation like that? You know, so I mean, but you knew what you signed up for.
That's a good
you
point.
know,
That's
it's
a good
like
point.
so at the end of the day, it's like Tom Izzo's not about to get a slap on the wrist, and you're right. You know, this is 2021. These coaches need to change. Yeah, there's a lot of things that they need to change, but is the NCAA going to start paying players? Probably not.
Watch out! Don't get nothing started up in here.
No,
you know.
No, I'm just saying. I mean,
don't get nothing started up in here.
you talk about the girl. When I say blackballed, I mean, like you said, you show the weight room. Yeah, it's wrong. You know it's dead ass wrong. You know that to put 6 weights in a whole gym, or we didn't have the adequate space because of COVID, and you knew that you could have used a high school gym and you had them kids over there at that high school gym. But I blame the coaches of the respective college to reach out to one of those high schools or local high schools. It's COVID. Everything shut down anyway. Why can't you work out drive over to the local gym in Lafayette or wherever high school that is, instead of you out there doing that? Now, take this rewind just a little bit. Yeah, you're right. The gear is jacked up, but they've always been doing women's sports like that. Is it right? No. You know that the gear, like he said, you make it to the tournament, those brands, if it's a Chick-fil-A bowl, you getting something Chick-fil-A. If it's a Taco Bell bowl, you know you getting something Taco Bell.
Everybody getting enchiladas. You know, enchiladas for everybody. Goddamn.
So I mean, that's not just the NCAA. That's March Madness knew what they were doing, and those brands, they should be just as equally reprimanded, just as like highlighting the NCAA.
I agree.
You need to highlight those brands and those sponsorships, because you gave it to the men. Why didn't you give it to the women?
Yep, I agree. I agree with 100%, my man.
It should have been blanket. But unfortunately, they don't respect women's sports, and that's why the WNBA, which is another topic, they don't get paid the dollar that they should be being paid. They feel like people aren't selling out the seats at Georgia Tech Stadium, or at the Houston Arena, or at the Seattle Arena. The Phoenix Arena, they don't sell out the seats the way the NBA sells out. So guess what? You know, well, we can only pay you this. They make more money overseas than they do in the NBA. I mean, in the WNBA. So, I mean, like I said, she's going to get blackballed because those coaches are going to say she spoke out against us. And like I said, this is a good old boy league. So it's like, this girl don't know her place. Now, let that have been a Cheryl Swoops. Let that have been a Candace Parker. Do you think that they would have had the careers that they would have had, getting the opportunity to play in the USA Olympics, or getting the opportunity to do something with TNT, or getting the opportunity to get endorsement deals? They know it. Those folks, whoever those, because you don't know the names of the NCAA representatives or the CEOs or whoever. You don't know who they are. So I'm just saying, you don't think phone calls aren't made? Those backdoor deals aren't done? You don't think people are they don't blackball? Yeah, they do. I'm a witness to it. I'm a victim of it. So it's like, oh, I said something. The coach that coached me my senior year, he invented the alley-oop. You don't think he didn't make a phone call and say, hey, the first bad game I had, I got cut? Now, how can I go against the guy that invented the alley-oop? He threw the ball to David Thompson. He's in the Naismith Hall of Fame. And I say the coaches, you know how they always say the coaches be tripping or they don't give you the opportunity. Well, I mean, so no one, if I say that, y'all laugh me out the room. But I mean, what do you do when the guy created the alley oop and you say, well, he's not giving me the opportunity to let me shine the way I want to shine? You was looking at me like, boy, just shut up and play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so like I said, you make the team, and then you went to the University of New Orleans. Who's the coach over there? Oh, that's Monty Talon. Hey, I got one of your guys down here. What do you think of him? You don't think that they're not gonna have an off the record conversation? Come on, man.
No,
They do it over at Dale.
Make it
That's
plain.
business 101. Yeah. That's
You don't think that they don't have those type of conversations about who that guy is? Oh, well, he's got a bad attitude. This is how you push his buttons. And I'm telling you, he's not a team player, or he's not a coachable kid, or he's not this, he's not that. And you're sitting there like, this is my livelihood that we're talking about. You know, I want to do this, and I want to make money doing something that I love. So it's kind of like all the eggs got to line up. You got to be a coachable kid. You got to be this great kid. You got to be all of that. And you turn around and put them on social media for millions of people to see in their money making season.
Yeah,
we already didn't make no money during the season. And we're having this March Madness, but we need to make that or recoup that money back. Mm-hmm. And you're taking money out of our pockets so we can make sure everything is fair for all parties. You don't think she's not about to get blackballed? Yeah, thank you for stepping up. I appreciate it. It's gonna make it more fair for everybody else. But yeah, she's gonna be the sacrificial
lamb. Yeah. I hear you. I hear you on that one.
We'll see. We talk about that next week for sure. Dog boy, appreciate you, brother. I see you on the road. I know you're driving to Washington.
No. We're headed back to Atlanta, so we're about 130 miles back from getting home. So,
all right, well, stop and get something to eat, man. Don't just drive and not take care of your body there. You know, get you something to eat.
Go ahead and hit me with that. Buy me a coffee. I would appreciate all that good knowledge that I sent out here. Just go ahead and tap that. Buy me a coffee over there.
Look, I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'll put it on the screen. There, right there. There go the man right there. Go ahead and give him a little something.
We gotta stop for gas anyway. Help the gas out. It's like $2.99 a gallon. Out here. So we're not accustomed to paying $2.99 on the freeway. It's like we're paying $2.70 in Atlanta, $2.99. So, but Montel, I appreciate y'all allowing me to come onto your show today and give a different perspective. I hope that the young man that does who caught COVID, hopefully his family is okay. But I hope that you can get him on and hear a perspective from, because it's gonna be an eye opener to hear what he has to say on how he covers sports and some of the stories that he sees that are behind the scenes that you would never really hear. So I would love to hear how he covers and how he exposes some things that the public would probably never hear, shall we say?
Yeah,
absolutely. He'll be coming on. Yeah, we'll have him on. We'll make sure you tune in to our boy for that one for sure.
We appreciate you, brother.
Look, James wasn't expecting this tonight.
I wouldn't. I ain't mad. It's all good though. You came out here dropping these bombs, boy. You came out here dropping all kind of bombs left and right. So it's always good content, always good stuff. You're a good man, though, brother. Drive safe. I'm gonna holler at you. I'm at you a little bit.
We just scratched the surface. That's all. I'm gonna let
I know. See, what I want to do is make sure that we, spread it out. I want to keep the audience, hungry. I don't want to give it to them all at one time. But here's don't get started on don't get started on another rant,
No, I'm just saying it's March Madness. That's all I'm saying. You got to bring the heat when it's March Madness.
We bring it. You just bought some extra kerosene to the bonfire.
No, man,
and we loved it. And we
great
loved
perspective, it, brother. Great perspective. I like that. I like that for sure.
Respect. All right, bro. Be good to yourself, man. We holler at you. Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
Had some things on his mind, right?
Yeah. No. But I mean, like I said, to recap, man, he gave a good perspective. Because like you said, me and you were like, hey, I don't really see too many things wrong with this. But he was right. Being that startup company, if it folds and that 16-year-old signs, it folds in 1 year. He just lost all of his amateur eligibility. He can't go to college. He can't. His whole soul will be sold for that $100,000, and the only option he has is to go overseas. and get an agent and try to make it there. So that's an interesting perspective that he brought back, and man, I really do appreciate that. But I do think the league, besides all that, I think the league will benefit some people. I think it'll benefit a few, but I do believe each family is going to have to really sit down and analyze it and make sure it's the right thing.
amongst themselves.
Yes.
So let's go on to this other story before we close out the evening. Want to be, like I said, cognizant of folks' time, but we was bringing some heat. We told you folks we was gonna bring it tonight, and it went off in another direction, and it was amazing. So we appreciate all that dialogue. But let me bring this on screen here, and you sent me this like literally 15 minutes before we went on air, and it's let me see if I can get this to show the top of that too. There we go.
This is something that this is where social media hurts us, and it's sad. And let me give it some background. So basically,
give us some context on this. Yeah,
I got this from from a man in Richmond, friend of mine in Richmond. He got this flyer,
Richmond,
California, in his flyer. And this is something that kids are doing. They're patterning and they're promoting kids fighting, just like the UFC, with graphics and putting it online, telling you where to meet for these young people to be able to fight and have and have a physical fight out there and go. This actually happened in Sacramento, California, over this past weekend. There was over 200 people that were there, confirmed. It got crazy when the police got there. Obviously, they arrested a certain amount of kids, but this is where I see social media imitating sports and hip hop and all that, and where it's now starting to go this route, which to me is disappointing. It's that marketing mechanism that we've all been afraid of it happening, but now it's starting to happen because now it's being very impressionable on our youth, and it's really to me it's disheartening, man. When he showed me this and we were talking about it, or when I read his blog when he was explaining what was going on, I mean, I was almost literally shocked. I mean, these are two young ladies. They're promoting for them to go fight, and the thing is, people went there to go see it.
Yeah,
they went to go see it.
That's definitely that's definitely a problem that we have, right? And especially for our youth, our young females to be out there scrapping out there in these streets for no good reason, to be promoting these types of activities amongst themselves. I mean, not even a third person promoting it, saying, "Come on out. There's going to be a brawl at the school after school or something like that." Like we would do back in the day, right? You had a disagreement with folks. You probably go out there and hit them on the playground or something. But this is actually, again, 13, 14, 15-year-old young girls out here planning a fight amongst themselves and and then have a whole bunch of people show up, attend it, film it, and think that it's funny, think that it's cool. This is not funny. This is not cool. This is not what we should be doing with our time and with our talents. So,
and this is an awareness for parents. I mean, and this is not something that's just going. I'm sure this is just not the first time. This is the first time it happened in Sacramento. I'm sure it's happening in every city across America. People are doing something like that. It's just been brought to my attention and my awareness. And I'm saying, and people say, well, what does this kind of have to do with sports? I think it's a direct correlation because the way we brand our sports, the way we brand our individuals, we do these images and we do these types of things. We see it every day on UFC. They do the versus, and they have this big propaganda behind it to make sure you go see it. It's starting to be very impressionable to our young people, and they're starting to use it also to their advantage to not only promote positive things, but also now start to promote negative things. Like I said, I was pretty sick, and I was just like, man, I can't believe this really happened. And it's a kind of a sad day. So I think my cry is make sure parents be aware of your children's surroundings and what they're actually doing. You see things like this, instead of even promoting it or even entertaining it, let's stop it right at the door. Because for two young ladies to risk everything because anything can happen in this situation. Not only just fighting and one person loses, one person wins, but we can have anybody really get hurt really bad. Yeah. It could be a riot. You could be arrested. I mean, your whole life can change over something stupid like this, where I'm pretty sure a conversation could hash everything.
Exactly.
This is something where a conversation could just hash everything. You don't have to go fisticuffs on whatever the situation is. It could have hashed everything. I hope these two ladies weren't hurt. I hope it didn't even happen. I'm not quite sure, but from my recollection from the person who told me there was at least 200 people that got there, and it really got crazy when the cops showed up. Kids were actually running and mauling out everywhere, wherever they go. So just be cognizant of what's going on in your kids' lives, I believe, and be very leery and very aware of situations like this happening. I mean, we all know our kids. People could nod and on. You can say your baby's the sweetest baby in the world, but your baby's doing dirt, or your baby's a little wild child, or your baby's likes to fight, or your baby gets into altercations. Your child. But you got to be cognizant of a situation like this, because to me, nothing but bad can happen in that kind of situation.
I agree.
There's nothing good going to happen in that situation at all. Not if you're going to just go witness it, and not if you're going to be a participant in it. But there's nothing good going to happen in that situation at all. So, and today with our brothers and sisters, we're trying to come together. We're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to show a lot of unity and trying to better ourselves in situations. This is actually just taking us in the opposite direction.
I agree. You said it, everything. I will just say ditto and verbatim, and just be parents. And even if you're not a direct parent, if you're just someone who has folks that someone looks up to you, right? You're a big brother, you're a big sister, you're a figurative big brother, big sister, whatever, uncle, you're that aunt, whatever. Be aware of what the youth are doing. Be aware that they're watching you as well. So, I almost want to say have that home training, that kind of thing. Know better, know what's right versus what's wrong.
Man, just I got daughters, you got daughters.
Yeah,
and
that's why this hits us so hard, right? Because,
to see two young ladies is like, hey, they're promoting a fight for these two young ladies to go meet somewhere and actually ball it out and for us to watch. That just doesn't sit well with me as a parent, as a mentor, and so on and so on. Like I said, we got to be very cognizant of what our children are doing, and you got to, like I said, you got to have that reality check with yourself and your family, and be like honest and be like, hey, yeah, my daughter, she be out there doing that, but I'm gonna make sure she's not gonna do this. So just have that honest conversation with your family and your child and your children, and be like, hey, you can't be a part of stuff like this, because I promise you, there's nothing good coming out of that.
That's
not
true.
One thing.
That's true. Folks, we talk about it. Folks, we this is what we do. Social impact of sport. We go there. We get awkward if we need to, and we hopefully it's valuable to you. Hopefully it's something that resonates with you. Definitely hook us up. Stay with us. Follow the channel. Bring your suggestions for topics, because we're gonna keep bringing this heat.
Let's talk about it. Like, so for next week, I know for sure 2 topics we're going to discuss. Yeah. Well, actually, by next week we'll discuss the Deshaun Watson situation.
Yes, we didn't get a chance to go into that. That's right. Yeah,
we'll go to that next week for sure. And then also I want to talk about this possible CFL XFL merger and how that will impact the NFL and college sports. Because if they do merge, we got a whole new ball game coming on our hands now with football. With football, there's goods and there's bads to both of them. But I know for a fact, it's been in the news. There's discussions with the XFL possibly merging with the CFL in Canada, and makes now football more of a at least definitely a national, a global brand from Canada and U.S. North America definitely based brand for sure, big strong. But this could possibly have impacts in NFL or that kind of league going global with a very good definite infrastructure that would be able to go to Europe's and so on and so on and so on. So it should be great, man, to see if this could possibly pull it off. The Rock is doing some big things. I can't lie, man.
Yeah, that's true.
That brother's he's trying to pull something off.
He's doing more than just making tequila and lifting weights. He actually doing he's trying to do something, man. He's trying to do something which is commendable, man. Yeah, he's doing his thing. He's doing his thing. I should probably go do some homework then and get prepared, because we're gonna have that discussion. It's gonna get deep. If you are wanting to get on camera like our boy Tall Boy did today as well, let us know. Let Martell and myself know. I'll shoot you the link for the broadcast studio for any of those shows. But outside of then, brother, be good to yourself. Go hug your kids. Go see what your son is doing about his recruitment there.
Oh, absolutely, man. He done, man. So right now we're gonna just get dinner ready. It's 5:30 right now. Get dinner ready. Watch a little bit of basketball.
Yes, sir.
And enjoy the rest of the Sunday, man.
I love it. Be good, brother. Y'all be good to yourself.
Absolutely. Have a good.